Let's do this. Welcome. My name is Joshua Hale, and this is Do It Live, Autonomy Podcasts. We have Ludwig from, where are you from again, Ludwig? Poland?
From Poland.
From Poland, joining today
a small village in Europe. Yeah.
As my trusty co-host today. He stepped up to the plate, turned his camera on, and here we are. We got a bunch of nice wallflowers in the room. Hopefully they'll join us for the conversation. We have a real exciting episode this week. We just started week 4 in season 4 of Autonomy. Lots of things going on this week, and we're just going to be going through kind of throughout the past week, highlighting some things. I got some, things I haven't even looked at yet. So we're going to both watch it live here on Do It Live. But Ludwig, how are you doing? This is your first season. You're now into week 4. How are you doing floating and going with the waves?
I don't know, man. I haven't really processed my emotion yet for the last 3 weeks because I was so excited to work with you guys that I'm just like working and just dreaming, tomorrow I'm going to be working for Autonomy. So yeah, it's great.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, Ludwig he found the path to the back of the stage, and he's been helping us out. He has a lot of technical know-how, and we're throwing some projects at him. And like, what kind of projects are you working on right now, Ludwig?
Well, I'm finishing the video editing for holistic self-assessment by Derek Brose, and now I'm also helping with setting up one website for autonomy students. So
excellent. That the cleanup for holistic self-assessment has been on my desk for like weeks. I got overwhelmed and I haven't been able to even to look at those. So I really appreciate you cleaning that up. We just wrapped his course up last week. It was a 10-week course on being able to examine yourself and answer, who am I? Simple question, but it has a lot of depth to it. So now we're packaging together the holistic self-assessment course, and we're going to be having a follow-up meeting with Derek Brose in the coming weeks to talk about how are we going to put this out into the world. We're really excited to be working with Derek. He's doing a lot of great things at the Conscious Resistance, and I'm excited for what is next. All right, so let's go ahead and just jump into the week. I'm going to start off with some exciting announcement first, and we'll go from there. Autonomy Unlimited. I stay extremely busy, not only with the Autonomy course, but with my digital marketing company that I have partnered up with Richard and Lisa, and we've been busy. We just got our first P&L statement from our accountant this last week for the 3 quarters of this year, and we just crested $100,000 in gross revenue. Very exciting for a first year of business. There's a lot of growth. It's been very uncomfortable. I've been stretched to my limits in order to step up and be able to grow with the scope of this business. So I'm so thankful to have accountants and other team members, really everybody, to be working on this. At last week's meeting, on Thursday's meeting, we had 19 people in our meeting. There's 19 people that just showed up to the meeting that's helping out with our team. There's a core team. There's lots of apprentices. There's people about to turn into freelancers that are going to be able to provide value directly to the clients. But we have exciting news coming up because we are about to do some rebranding on our image. Up to this point, we have only been doing word of mouth business. We have only been getting clients from in the community, and our social media team is about to start doing some external marketing. We have a unique niche with what we are offering as a marketing company, because our tagline is where ethical marketing meets integrity. Ethical marketing is not something that you're going to find out there on the market all too often. We actually are now working with a new SEO team member, and he's going to be outfitting our business centered around this term ethical marketing and what it is. We're going to be coming out with a ton of content on describing what ethical marketing is and all the different components and what separates us differently than other marketing out there. Because there's a lot of marketing companies, there's a lot of advertisers, there's a lot of dinosaur advertisers out there, a lot of Edward Bernays handbook, how do we manipulate the audience type of tactics out there. And we are separating ourselves from that, because as we've learned in autonomy, you can deliver value and people appreciate that and people will pay for that. And you don't have to trick them if what it is that you're offering is if you're open and honest about that, because there's enough people out there that have needs. And if you can fulfill those needs in the market, then we can have a transaction. So we're really excited about this rebranding effort. Probably going to be we will be aiming for the start of the year for this, and probably come with a shiny new website and a lot more content going into this. But we have some new additions on the website that I just want to highlight. We have a great testimonial from Matthew Raymer, who we've been helping out his business called Content Safe. Content Safe helps your business publish your content as well as back it up, and also do a wide publishing. So you as a content creator just need to post up your video after you're done with it to, say, YouTube, and then they can take care of the rest and put it on all the other alternative platforms. Really powerful service and one of great need in this time of censorship. But let's hear what Matthew has to say about working with Autonomy Unlimited.
And let me just add that in my interactions with Josh and Rich and the other autonomy members, I cannot speak more highly of a group of people to work with. As I said earlier, I've dealt with people in small businesses to large corporations to government agencies, and I have never found a group of people that I would more want to work alongside with in 25 years. And I don't think that's hyperbole. They share a lot of my values, they share a lot of my worldview, and I think that this group is going to do great things.
Extremely nice thing coming from this gentleman. He's been around the block. He's been in the business for an extremely long time, and it's really great to have him say that about us. Here's Content Safe. You can find their website at contentsafe.co. Go check them out. We also put up some new projects, and this is going to be a start of a new thing coming on. Our media production team, they've been cranking out some fantastic videos. Promotional video for Content Safe they just came out with. You can come here, check it out. It's fresh off the press. They kicked out our 19 skills video. We also have some more video coming out on 19 skills. That's going to be a coming surprise. And then also they do fantastic work on cleaning up interviews for the autonomy community, as well as Richard's podcasts and interviews too. So really exciting stuff. Check them out here. And yeah, stay tuned for an upcoming rebrand with Autonomy Unlimited. We just got our new logos. We got to showcase them last night. There's a lot of meaning behind this. Richard, are you able to come off mic right now and talk a little bit about the symbolism behind our new logo?
I wish I could, but I'm removing air conditioners right now.
Okay, I'll stumble my way through it. Gold is never lose. It always retains value. It doesn't tarnish. And unlimited is something that once you gain autonomy, you start transacting out in the world, you realize that you can contract and make offers with a unlimited amount. So Autonomy Unlimited is really, once you gain autonomy through autonomy, then you can interact with Autonomy Unlimited and either take your project to market and or become part of the Autonomy Unlimited team and help other people take their projects to market and really lift all ships up. Really, yeah, tide rises all ships. So really exciting. This is our element logo. There's some fun facts about that. You can Google 143 and Mr. Rogers and get a little message from us. And also, yeah, we're gonna call that good. Next up, we have Parresia. Benny Wills is ready to A, have a baby and with his partner, and B, his course is now, like, I think you might be hearing it here first, but we just put the finishing touches on his website. His course is, I think, going to be launching here, not launching, but opening up where people can sign up in the coming week, in the coming days, really. And so you can go and check out his website right now at productions.bennywills.com. You can go get a sneak peek. There might be a couple of small changes, but we're very proud of the design of this. It really has turned out nicely, and this is going to be able to allow Benny to create a new stream of revenue for his family and share his gifts with the world. He's a lifelong actor. He was in many films as a young individual, and he's been gathering these skills of how to speak clearly, publicly, intimately, and now he's going to be sharing this with his audience. So make sure to go and check that out. Save your seat. There's a limited capacity for his course because he really wants to be able to give his full attention to his audience. So make sure to go save your seat first. Next up, another project, One Great Work Network. I don't even know if they've announced this yet, but this is kind of what we do here. You get a kind of sneak peek and behind the scenes look at what's going on in autonomy. Mark Passio has teamed up with Autonomy, and we are helping him, supporting him with his One Great Network. It's going to be like a media production. It's going to be a streaming service that is going to be showcasing and highlighting great with material and work. And this is basically going to be a TV channel that you can tune into at any time. Tyler, do you have any more information on this? Are you able to come off mute? No worries if you can't. What we're looking
I
at
can
is
share a little bit.
Okay, cool. Please do.
So back in 2017, about the time we got that last newsletter out, or Mark got that last newsletter out, he had launched that project or semi-announced it to people that he wanted on the network. And Bill Church was hanging out with him over at his place in Philadelphia after, I think, a Free Your Mind conference, and mentioned me and Bill had recently done an interview. So Bill was like, hey, Mark, Tyler, he's out there trying to do some things and you should keep him in mind. And back then he reached out to me. And then recently, when he kind of re-announced it on his show, the One Great Work Network, Autonomy Unlimited reached out to him. And he was also in a time of need and asking the community for help. So we reached out, and that kind of was the reestablishment of our communication with Mark and my communication with their team. And since then, we've been working on this One Great Work Network launch with them. And it's, the fundamental axiom or principle around the network is spreading natural law and the principles of self-ownership. So it's an exciting project to be working on. And the course itself that Autonomy Unlimited has also helped build is going to train the staff and the technical team to be able to operate the network, as well as the hosts and things like that, to post content to the network, and it kind of falls in line with what we're doing over there at Grand Theft World, where we can start to accumulate content that is liberty oriented that people can stumble across and kind of start to become more familiar with people they may not be.
Excellent. Thanks for that background on it. There's the cool thing is we made a deal. We're working with them, and so what they're developing is a course to help people learn how to produce and what's that called? Kind of like a broadcast team. And everyone in Autonomy, once they graduate, they get access to that course as well too. So everyone who's interested in starting your own thing, this is a great opportunity for everybody to learn together and learn from those experts that are a little bit ahead of us on the trail, and they clear that path for us. So really really great that, this collection of knowledge is coming together. You mentioned Grand Theft World. Boom. This is coming along. This is really in its infant stage, but we are getting people to editors to be able to share and update along with some automation, so that this will be a one-place stop to be able to keep up on what is going on in this Grand Theft World. I mean, this place is what the news that's happening around us is happening so quickly. So we're really working on being able to have a place where you can just come and get a sneak peek of everything that's going on, and you don't have to rely on YouTube to be feeding you your information, because we know how that's going right now. But having a staple place to be able to come and see that. Got one more cool thing I'm debuting right here. Richard Grove just threw this at me right before the start of this show, so we're going to be watching it together. But we're getting some great testimonials from graduates of Autonomy and how Autonomy has helped them out.
For me, Autonomy is an incredible convergence of three things: wisdom, empowerment, and community. Looking back on what I was feeling before Autonomy, I realized I was really wrangling with fear, self-limiting beliefs, and honestly, a lack of focus and direction that I think was really contributing to a feeling of stuckness. And yet, the moment that I said yes and made a commitment to Autonomy, I began to shed that feeling of inertia. And by the end of the season, I was well on my way to accomplishing my goals. I was focused, I was directed, and I was confident. Today, I remain deeply grateful for the experience that I had, as well as the incredible quality of relationships that I forged and that continue today, because I said yes to Autonomy.
She's so sweet. I really like that lady. She was a graduate of season 3. Season 3? I think season 3. No, maybe season 2. And she had helped out with a nonviolent communication course. You can find that in the University of Reason Library. And she's just, a really sweet and loving and individual that I'm really glad she's part of the community. So we helped her out. We got her website up and going. That was one of our first early projects of Autonomy Limited. And I really like that lady. Moving through the week, the Renaissance Revolution. Luckily, we thought we lost this recording, but here's just a little sneak peek of the culture that we have here in Autonomy. We have some poets, some people who can write songs, and they're now getting together and sharing their work and how they are being able to put messages out there within art. It's really awesome.
Some murder plans to purge the land of the herd of man from acres true statements. The World Bank and IMF agents, hitmen in the total odyssey, from Rothschild to monarchy. And they're aiming for your colony, waiting for a crack like it's Wedgwood pottery. Check the Prince's study if you claim you got democracy. There's no republic, it's repugnancy. Say pilgrims claim the thrones, it's the days of running mead. Now it's fast track and TPP that the people don't read and tread with apathy.
They don't want the public to know what they, the government, are doing. Well, that's a total flip of what our entire foundation, the founders of this country, had intended. And our entire processes, the Constitution and all the amendments is set up so that the people are supposed to know what the government's doing. The government's not supposed to know what the people are doing.
So reject it, stand above authoritarians. It couldn't find a spine in a room with librarians and tune to find variants, rejecting all inheritance. The parroting is buried behind your false parishes, tearing through this axis of evil they practice. One NATO supplants a chance of national actions. The fact is, its impact is more damaging than hemorrhaging all of your blood on fine finishings. They require enemies and entities when menacing. Golden triangle so they profit off your misery. Militant, busting this industrial complex. The consequence of ignorance breeds dominance projects. See dominance context in the masses befuddled. To question them aside over no comment rebuttals. The content gets shuffled off the premises. Like Ray McGovern and Rumsfeld or escape pods to Genesis. We're pinning this. I stay attentive to the sentiments, the minutes and incidents in increments of time. Red lines and war crimes designed to erect connected lines of selective morality to protect. This reality's directed. The methods of exit obscured by the media that jumps to accepted, unelected rulers with effective benevolence. The evidence is in, they just manufacture relevance.
Yeah, that's it right there. Kevin, fantastic work, dude. Big fan. Big fan of Kevin's work. Bars, serious bars. I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, holy, wait, hold on. Nice.
They do, I think it's a weekly show, Renaissance Revolution, on Saturdays, I want to say. I think so, Saturdays. If you want to join in, just a bunch of cool cats sharing their love of art and how they're able to do that. Did anybody catch that show last week and want to give any feedback on it? No problem. I'm catching up on the replays too.
Just that there are some really awesome people that I wasn't even aware of, and I caught it and I enjoyed watching it. I felt like I was like hanging out with some cool people, you know, for once. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
You were loud in the smoky backstage.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Next up, we got Town Hall. Town Hall's still going on. At the beginning of 2020, right when the pandemic was hitting the fan, we started another server and to bring the conversation over there, so we didn't have to flood our autonomy community with keeping up with what the heck is going on with this whole 2020 thing. I'm not even going to say it, but we've been doing town halls. I mean, we've probably done near 100 different episodes, just gathering information, showcasing what's going on, getting different people's perspective. That's one of my favorite part. Different people's perspective from around the world, tuning in live, sharing what's going on in their neighborhoods. Just been a really valuable service. But this last week, Mark Soul, he has been the one who has carried the torch and is continuing on hosting this thing. And they put on a presentation this last week with Sisyphus Jones. I probably just butchered that, but let's check out a quick little snippet of what's going on in Town Hall.
And it's only by changing these social policies that societies species could be saved from a return to mediocrity. So we got to get rid of the weak to be able to evolve out of our condition. The modern eugenics movement. After things caught a little bit of fire in England and those ideas spread, they came over to the Americas. Here in Canada and in the States, it spread like wildfire. Here you'd find associations that actually own property and buildings, and they'd have meetings almost like church, where people would come in and they would learn about eugenics and how eugenics how eugenics could be adopted in a society and how it could make a society better. It also lobbied states to change laws and policies to work on some of the ideology that eugenics brought. They had fitter family competitions. They posted up signs all over schools and churches, and they tried to convince young boys and girls to win ribbons and awards to go get judged. And they would, measure skulls and whatever other kinds of things that they did to see whether or not their genetics were good. And the person at the end would win a ribbon, a small amount of money, or some sort of prize for having the fittest genes in the town or in the competition. In 1907, Indiana passed the first eugenics-based compulsory sterilization act in the world. Those kinds of laws were then adopted in 30 states by the 1920s. I just read an article that in Canada it was adopted pretty much Canada-wide, except for in Quebec, because the Catholic Church. You can say all you want about the Catholic Church, but this is one thing that they were able to protect the Quebecois from, is those particular eugenics laws. This led to over 60,000 sterilization of the mentally disabled, ill, or individuals that belong to socially disadvantaged groups living in the margins of society. 60,000 people. Eugenics got a bad name. The poor Nazis came in and made it a platform of theirs while they were in power. The poor eugenics. The Nazis took it and they were like, wow, this is an excellent idea. And this is what we're going to use, absolutely. So the first people that they they wanted, because the eugenics ideas were so good, they wanted to create the ultimate human, the Übermenschen. So they started using the eugenics. The very, very first people that were going to go were, just like in the United States, the mentally ill and disadvantaged. Then it was the gypsies, and then it was the Jews, and then the Catholics, and then they continued, and we know what happened to them. And the eugenics movement took a real hard hit with this, so they had to go and hide. What we know, what eugenics has become now is, we call it cryptoeugenics. Its most common form at the moment is in bioethics. At the head of every hospital, there is a board that judges on the morals and ethics of certain operations and certain cases that come into the hospital. Bioethics boards usually tackle these particular issues. They define death, the in vitro fertilization, euthanasia. Here in Quebec, we were just talking about euthanasia, and it seems to be a relatively popular thing. And there are now ways of doing it in certain moments where it's acceptable here in Quebec. Abortion, cloning, and these are the kind of issues that bioethics talk about often.
Does that pique your interest? You're going to have to go check out the full episode. This is up on BitChute. Just look up Autonomy Town Hall, episode 34. Really fascinating, right? I think a lot of people in autonomy are aware of eugenics and where the history comes from, and then how it's still in practice today under different terms, as we just saw. Ludwig, you have anything to comment on that? No? Okay.
Everything has been said.
All right, perfect. Okay, let's move along. This just happened. Boom, fresh off the press. You were at this, so you can fill us in. Let's just check out a little clip of this. Copywriting clinic going on in autonomy. Let's check it out.
Sure.
I'll
put the link up into the description.
Sure.
Okay.
Or yeah, go ahead and just put it into like our chat here in the Zoom chat.
Okay, so it was a slow burning in the beginning.
Yeah. So Adam is bringing his website to get critique to the copywriting team. Is that right?
Yeah. In the second half, we started to warm up, and yeah, a lot of stuff have been said. But I think I stole the show from the copywriting clinic to the web design clinic.
Of the goal.
Okay, I'm going to jump ahead.
So, you know, maybe then even on each of these categories on their page, having that category being the title of the page, or at least acknowledged somewhere in the hero, because when I first clicked on that, I thought that I was still on the homepage. So I like that. That's a good observation, is having some kind of explanation somewhere. Honestly, even if it's up here, if they clicked on that and it had the, you know, occult in the title, and you had like a little snippet about this category and about what kind of stuff they're going to see on the page. If it's not too lengthy of a description, you could even put it here. So there's a couple ways that you could do that. What would you suggest, Ludwig?
So if you would take out the social media icons, you would have a little more space. I think if you could show the people that there is something else in the bottom, that would be nice. But on the other hand, your website is pretty busy, so I'm not sure what would be the best thing to watch out for first. So maybe if you could also make a short sentence on where to start, basically.
How was your feedback received, Ludwig?
I think it was received well, actually. That's what Kara said, so I believe her.
Excellent.
Adam was thankful, so.
Cool, yeah. Super valuable to get your work evaluated by some people with experience. And this is what we do here in Autonomy. We have a huge support system. So anything that you're working on, you can just go ahead and throw it to the wolves and see what comes back for it. It's nerve-wracking. I mean, we're all working on projects of passion here, but yeah, to get some real feedback by a community that's not going to ridicule you, but just give you constructive criticism in order to strengthen what you have built. Super valuable.
Yeah, definitely gonna do that. I'm cutting all my previous projects so I can basically just work for the Autonomy now, and so now I will be building my own business website, so I will definitely ask for some advice. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so throughout the week, there's tons of things going on, but on Friday night, last night, we had our Friday night lecture. It was pretty exciting. This is my fourth time going through this material, and there's always still something to learn. And it's fascinating to have gone through a lot of this internal work and see myself change and grow and become the person that I set out to be, and then hear this material again. And it's like, with a fresh new perspective, I now can understand things to a greater depth. So I never get tired of hearing the material inside of the course. I just have a couple slides to showcase, and we can talk about what comes up with that. So this is not Steve Jobs. It is, what's his name? Oh, man.
Jack Ma.
Thank you. He is one of the co-founders of the Alibaba networks, basically Amazon over in Asia. And he's created an empire over there. But he says the three things that really make up his successful business are values, mission, and professionalism. And this is something that we've adapted for Autonomy Unlimited. Once you graduate Autonomy and you can come join the fun in Autonomy Unlimited, you'll notice that the atmosphere is different. In autonomy, you know, we like to drop some memes. We like to have fun. We like to share some crazy information here and there. But back in Autonomy Limited, it is there's a layer of professionalism going on. We're there to get the job done, and we still have a great time doing so. But it's definitely not. We don't horse around. And once you can adopt to that kind of culture, then we're there to get the job done and do it in an excellent way. But like I said, I've never worked with a group of people where we can enjoy what we're doing as much in a high pressure area, because we're delivering value to our clients, and there's time deadlines, and there's challenges, there's hair on fire situations, but we got to do that with a group that's there to support you and not try and cut you down and try and seize opportunities to climb all over you when you're experiencing some overwhelm or some weakness. It's vastly different than other businesses that I've worked with, and it creates an environment where you can be vulnerable, but you can also get this amazing creativity that takes place because everyone there is working towards success. And so there's no bad ideas. Everybody's free to just share and see what works and sticks. And Ludwig, what have you thought so far of kind of the culture and Autonomy Unlimited since you've been working with us?
Autonomy Unlimited, yeah? Well, I just joined, so I haven't really figured out. I just spoke with a few people, and yeah, it's like a different planet for me, because I never supposed that I could ever join a company and wanted to stay there. So now it's like getting to be my dream to be a part of this. Yeah.
Excellent.
So the culture, like, very, very supportive. I can be authentic and nobody cuts me off. It's great.
Awesome. The lone wolf sounds like found his pack. That's really exciting. Yeah. Well, yeah. Appreciate you stepping up. Like you said, you show up and you get noticed. Tyler, how has been your experience working with Autonomy Unlimited?
I'm with Ludwig. I'm still new here, so I'm still just trying to figure out what's going on exactly. No, it's like you said. I mean, I'm still just as excited today to work in and around the group of people here as I was when I started. And when I started, I was just like the people last night, staying up late till Q&A, you know, working on myself. And now to listen to the lectures at night, I'm taking care of tasks in the Autonomy Unlimited realm, while, you know, still improving and listening to the lectures and going through. So it's a great curve. And when I say that, I mean it's a tremendous curve. I think that we're all going through right now to try to grow and establish those processes and make it in alignment with the principles of Autonomy Unlimited and the ethical marketing. And I really like how you opened this up and you know, explained how that works. And I'd like to see more about what we were talking about this week with that Jeff person and kind of marketing ourselves as the ethical marketing agency. But anyway, the experience has been great and the people are great, and it's a little bit of a different model than I'm even used to. So I'm still getting used to that, you know, kind of the more freelancer style of operating. And I think everybody needs to provide their own value here, and there isn't going to be room really for people to come in and kind of just get a paycheck or just kind of coast through and do their 8-hour shift. And that's exciting too, to be working with such high caliber people.
Yeah, it really shifts things around when you're there because you want to be. Because in order to be a freelancer, that means me as like the director cannot tell you when and where you have to be. Like I can't say, oh, hey, this thing just came in. I need you to be doing this like right now. I can't say that to freelancers. The IRS here in America will literally like change you from a freelancer to an employee if they learn that you are being ordered around. So everybody that's working in Autonomy Limited is choosing to be there, and it doesn't mean we don't have deadlines and scheduled meetings, but everything is voluntarily taking place, and that just changes the atmosphere completely because you're not working with people that don't want to be there. And can you imagine an office of people that hate their jobs and are only there because they have to get a paycheck in order to provide for their family, and the attitudes and like the mindset that comes along with that? That's really non-existent here. Doesn't mean we don't have bad days and like feel down and low performance levels, but it means that you're in control of your destiny. And putting a group together, this is what's so amazing. Seeing a group of people come together like that. Yeah, man, this year's flown by because I love what I do, and I get to work with a lot of people in order to do so. Next slide that stood out to me, and I think we might have talked about this in a previous Do It Live. Top 10 challenges of new students. Fear, lack of self-confidence, time management, energy management, scarcity mentality, waiting for permission, addicted to paychecks, learned helplessness, implicit social skills, ad hoc, and paralysis by analysis. If any of those like jump out to you, or if you got a little tingle in your belly because you're like, oh shit, how do they know, right? A lot of these things are the consequence of public schooling and just having a lot of self-doubt and dealing with being told what to do all the time. And then when you are given the freedom to do anything you want, there's a lot of internal work you got to do in order to get comfortable with that. Ludwig, have you been experiencing any of these things?
Wow, like before Autonomy, unfortunately, I kind of managed it just a few months before, but definitely, if I can say fear in the sense that I had an internal conflict of that I was doing something not wrong, something wrong, or something that just not like using my fullest potential. So definitely that, yeah, self-confidence. Yeah, it ties in with that. Now that people explained me that I'm worth certain things, it's definitely helped me. Yeah. Time management, I never managed my time, so it's completely new experience. I think I did a really well job because I don't think necessarily everything has to be structured. If you just tune out every distractions, that you're just very focused on your goal, then it all just comes on your path. But yeah, definitely scarcity mentality was something is something very big still in my brain. Yeah, some social skills and paralysis by analysis. That was something I struggled along, and just this year I really tried to work on that. So I'm still struggling with that. We'll see.
Right there with you, Ludwig. A lot of those, yeah, I still have the remnants of scarcity mindset. It's so difficult to get out of your way. I grew up relatively poor. I grew up on government cheese. I can say that. And so being able to remove this like programming that's been part of my mental framework has been a real long struggle, and I'm just now feeling really happy with how I'm allowing abundance into my life, and I work extremely hard, but I'm also now feeling confident in getting rid of this scarcity mindset, allowing myself to have more, allowing myself to provide for my family, allowing myself to have a successful business and be able to pay everybody on the team. This is something that, yeah, I'm still nerve-wracking to work with. Lee, you made it. How was your experience in last night's lecture?
It was really good. It's become a part of my family's life. My 10-year-old son, he got his own Calendly link set up, and he offered it to his sister too, who's 8, but she's like, no, that's interesting. And she asked some questions about it, but she's like, I'll do that later at another time. It's not interesting to me right now. Yeah, I just woke up and I failed. I talked to you and communicated with you about participating and helping more with your show. But I didn't ask you a critical question like, what time should I meet to get set up? And I looked on the calendar, right? I was looking around to see where if you put it on there. I tried to, I didn't find it. And then
Still not there.
Crashed. The body couldn't contain, what's the word? The body couldn't keep going, man. It just, so I crashed.
No problem. You take care of you. You didn't give me any commitments that you broke, so it's all good. I wasn't thrown off whatsoever, and I'm glad you're catching the tail end of this.
And what you said about the scarcity mindset, right? Didn't you ever wonder why such a big focus and push for cities as the key infrastructure zones, the seat of government, the best schools, the best opera house, all that stuff, right? What a great way to have walls where people live in these hives, and yet the city, quote unquote, the city walls were destroyed, right? In olden times, they had city walls everyone could see to defend them, right? And nowadays, many cities around the world, those city walls are gone, but yet they're still there, right? In the mind, right? As you guys were talking about, it's so nefarious.
Yeah, I had it pointed out to me that in residential zones, there's no like community gathering places. Everybody like owns their property and it's next to each other, and like you can't just go and hang out under an apple tree and like talk and meet your community. It's all very segregated, and there's very minimal like places for the group, the community to come together and have that rapport and share concerns, share rumors, and be able to like work as a community. Everybody's just in their box, in their home, and communications like to a minimum. We're forced to communicate through Facebook, which is supposed to connect us all together, but really it's making just even smaller and smaller boxes. I found that really fascinating when someone pointed it out to me.
Oh yeah, and definitely. And yet look what we're doing. Look what you're doing. Look what we're building, right? Yeah. We're taking what that infrastructure was and repurposing it in such a great way.
Town hall.
Such a great way. And these boxes now will serve us. Like this monitor and the technology. Hey,
yeah,
it's great.
Yep, use it while we got it. Next up last night, something else that really stood out, defining the good life. Before I learned about philosophy, before I started studying philosophy because of the Trivium method, I heard of the term the good life, but I never really examined what that was in my life. Like, what did I want as a good life? And Richard did such a great job with breaking it down into these small pieces where you can start looking at each of these areas and defining like, what do you want in your life? Yeah, anything stand out for you guys?
I'll just kind of go back with kind of what you were talking about earlier too, about working with other people, and just tying that into the whole conversation of really how helpful that is to even working through those struggles that it talked about with early on or throughout. You're working on those bullet point problems of fear or, lack of confidence or scarcity mindset. Working with other people through that stuff like really does help. And you can go through that stuff by yourself, and obviously there's a large amount of work when you're looking at like self work. It's kind of in the word, right? We're talking about work that has to be done alone, but to be able to have a group of people kind of doing the same thing and then also working on their businesses and working together is hugely beneficial in the good life. I mean, you that's kind of what it's all about, right? A lot of people would say that one of the most important things to them is the relationships that they have and the people that they work with, or the people that they work might not be the right word, but like, communicate with on a daily basis, even just building that strength and strengthening their relationships. And so to me, that's a big part of the good life. There's a lot of words on the screen right now. My mind is like mush from last night, staying up till 3 a.m. processing the lecture. But that's a big part of the good life for me, is like, being able to work and be healthy and be productive, but then working with good people too, I think is a big part of that.
I heard Savri Subri say that when asked, how do you distinguish work and home life, and when do you start working each day? And he says, the minute my eyes open in the morning. And what he's done is built a life with work, what he considers work, integrated completely into his life. So I'm experiencing this now. Right when I wake up, I might have this idea. I'm like, oh, I need to do this, or what if we do this? And I have a lifestyle where I'm operating in my barn, and my home is about 200 yards, 100 yards away. No, 20, 30 yards away. And I go into my house for lunch. I meet my wife there. My wife works upstairs in the barn. She has her own Etsy store and a successful clothing operation going on. And yeah, we just live, we juggle a 2-year-old. We just live this lifestyle where work is integrated into our lives. And it really is created something that I wanted to pursue and create for ourselves. And now with this like list, you can see all these different areas of further defining what it is that we want to create. Because I used to be just floating around, not having a goal in my life, thinking, Rich mentions this in the course last night, of like, hoping for some luck, that something lucky will happen to me, that I'll catch a break, instead of like taking the bull by the horns and taking action in my life and just putting value out there. I would just float around with no destination in mind. And now I got clear destinations. Defining what the good life helps out with that, figures out what you want, areas of improvement that are needed, and then you can start taking small steps in that direction and start achieving these things.
That's really great, and that's really beautiful. And thank you for sharing the reality that you are living and experiencing, and also talking about how you're going to take it further, right? A lot of these things just stretch out. And so you got a long horizon of a lot of good stuff in many directions, right? And that's really cool, man. And you feel too like that these things, you weren't sure how to really connect them or integrate them. They weren't well defined for you, right? And like he says in the lecture too, man, that's kind of important, right? I'm sure the quality of life that you have now, and for you and your family and the next generation, it's kind of important, eh?
Yeah, those questions weren't on the quizzes in school for some reason. Well, awesome. Anything else stand out for you guys during the lecture last night, before we wrap this thing up? How about the break videos? Forget the guy's name in the beginning, but to hear his experience, how he like infiltrated his job with just showing up early and being helpful to the owners and just being at the right place at the right time, because he said he strategically got put himself there to be able to then turn into the assistant of the owner and then learn about the whole operation, the whole business, and just kind of cut right in line just because he saw opportunity and he did the work of showing up early.
Yeah, it
Yes.
really does work that way. Sorry, Lee. It
No.
really does work like that. I've seen stuff like that happen in my life where I've participated in things like that where you're just because of proximity, but then also like your conscientiousness to say like, hey, I'm right here. Can I make that scan for you? I see that you're scanning this document. You look pretty busy. Or even just being in the opportune moment when they need the help. And Tom Bilyeu also in one of the clips was talking about how he, strategically moved closer to his team or his, the partners of that company, just so he could be like within 5-minute driving distance. That always makes me laugh because, we're kind of trying to build a team and you're, probably like 3 days that way and Richard's like 5 days that way. And, even like starting out working with Mark, he was like really worried about the distance and doesn't like working over distance. And, things are moving along to the point, and with the unprecedented times that we're in 2020, even in another job that I work, they've relaxed a lot on this whole idea of working remotely. And I think it's kind of just, the way that things are going. But yeah, like putting yourself in that time and place and then being prepared when it's there. Because like you said, Josh, it's not just going to come like, oh, one day the CEO started talking to me and I, made an offer and he wanted to help me. It doesn't really work like that. Like you need to be preparing for that opportunity when it comes so that you're ready to jump on it. It's not just going to come and hit you blindsided while you're playing PlayStation or something, so.
Right. Lee, did you want to follow up on that?
Yeah, I agree. And when you are have done work with yourself and you know who you are and what your motivations are, your true motivations, not just access to some more capital, a bigger paycheck, an office or a title, but you're like, I would love to be with that kind of team. Then when something comes along, you have no qualms about like, am I doing this for the right reasons? And the other people too, they've tapped you or they've asked you or they've said, would anyone want to step up and take on this? They know that the right person's going to take that because you should have done that work and you're ready to go. So you like, go. Like,
Yep. Well, we're about to start a whole new week. There's more to come. We have some new presentations, I think, that are going to be starting soon. There's lots to do, as well as all the integration exercises. We got the dojo rooms open. People are practicing. People are reaching out. People are getting on their calendars. This is going to be the start of some really exciting things taking place. Thanks everybody for joining me for Do It Live, Season 4 Autonomy Podcast. And thank you for Ludwig, for Tyler, for Lee, for stepping up, joining me on this conversation. It really is great to talk to you guys and have this real recap week. Join us again next week. But first, make sure to subscribe to us, whatever you're watching this on, BitChute, on Library, I think we're now on, the GoobTube. Make sure that you ring that bell, like this, leave a comment, it helps. And if you want to know how to get autonomy for yourself, you can go to getautonomy.info. There's a link down below. You can click that. Tell them any of us sent you, and we'll be excited to welcome you into this community. Thanks again for showing up, and see you again next week.
thank you, Joshua. Ciao.